Hey, everybody, welcome to La Vida Baseball Live. Here's a look at what is trending. Albert Pujols continues to have success at the plate in his new Dodger Blues. With his 671st homer over the weekend, he passed Barry Bonds for fourth on the all-time total bases list with 5,980. Now, just a week after Nike dropped the South Side version of the City Connect jerseys, the North Side gets their version. Released yesterday with a call out to Wrigleyville, created around the idea of uniting all 77 of Chicago's neighborhoods. Now, as the world begins to open up again, live events and concerts are boasting some pretty amazing star-studded lineups. As with the release of the 2022 Cali Bash lineup featuring Daddy Yankee, J Balvin, and Ozuna. I know, the FOMO is real. Get your tickets now. Now, you know him from shows like NYPD Blue, The West Wing, and Dexter, just to name a few, and perhaps a Star Wars prequel or two. Brooklyn native Jimmy Smits was just awarded a star, finally, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Congratulations, Jimmy. And finally, everybody digs the long ball, and 5 of the 6 players leading MLB in home runs happen to be international players, 4 of which happen to be from Latin America. Now, with 18 home runs apiece, we've got Vladdy Jr. and Ronald Acuna Jr., followed by Tatís Jr. with 17, and Adolis Garcia with 16. And that is a look at what is trending. All right, Jen and Ozzie, welcome to the show, guys. I have questions to kick this off. Jen, first off, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being it's still early, and by still early, I mean before the All-Star break, and 10 meaning the house is on fire, where would you rate the panic in New York City over what is happening with the Yankees? What's going on, girl?
100.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
If you go by what you see on Twitter and basically the up and down roller coaster that this team has been, I mean, I picked them to win the week one week because it seemed like everything was turning around and they were doing everything right, defense and offense. And then all of a sudden, everything is just boom, the thing has hit the fan and they are trying to clean it up and they have not been able to. And I think the level of panic is okay. I honestly do think that you need to worry about this team health-wise, chemistry, the mood in the clubhouse, what's going on, because on paper, right, this team is a team to beat, but right now they are not playing the way that they need to play. I know a lot of people are getting on Aaron Boone for not getting mad enough and all these things, and I think people forget, though, that he does have a pacemaker. And I think his health is more important than storming up to an umpire and getting his blood pressure elevated. I think that's something people need to think about when you're thinking about how Aaron Boone reacts to certain situations. But something needs to happen and something needs to happen quick. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, the situation seems to be bleak in New York.
Oh, I always want to be in New York, but not right now. Ozzie, what's your take on the Germinator's new haircut?
The Germinator's new haircut, great job by the artist. This is my only issue, okay? I'm an old school guy. Call me a boomer. Call me anything. The Germinator's 1 for 31 in his last 11 games. He started out around 415 in the month of April, and he's right now hitting 100 in this month of June, and he is struggling. So that curve right there, statistically, he's going to have to need another miracle to go back up. Can he do it? Absolutely. I want him to stop believing the hype, okay? The chains have gotten bigger. The hair has gotten bigger. He is a cult classic. He's going to be a name in Chicago forever. He's going to be a guy that I'll be talking about in 30 years, how cool he was. But on the field, he needs to produce because he needs to remind himself that this is a shot to the big leagues, man. This guy was 10 years in the minors. Okay, and when they're gonna make the roster next year, they're not gonna go on the fans and say we're gonna keep the Germinator because he has a really cool haircut and fans love him. They're gonna release him or gonna have a haircut in somewhere else. So I don't want to hate on him on that. If Tatís Jr. had that haircut, I say you've earned that to put that haircut and have that in your head. I know people say it's boring. It takes away from that. If I was his team, I said, hey man, you're getting a little bit out there. Haircuts are getting crazy. I thought from an artist standpoint, it was really cool what he did. That's super artistic. For him, how he was struggling, It's when you got a haircut like that and you start hitting home runs and you're hitting 415, everything looks great. When you're 1 for 33, you have to take your helmet off and take your batting gloves off and walk to the dugout. Nothing looks good. So I'm like,
hang on. You just said he toiled in the minors for almost a decade. He makes it to the majors. You know how hard it is to come up. He makes it in the major leagues. Don't you think he's earned that haircut?
No, because he should have had that haircut in the minor leagues. Should have had that haircut in the minor leagues. It's like when NBA draft day comes, everybody's wearing a suit and tie. Everyone's scared. Then they're in the NBA. They're in the floor. They want to wear shorts. Oh, we kicking it. Minor leagues is one thing, and I think that he can earn it of playing the way that he wants to play, playing hard. I think he's just doing things that are extra that I think that where he's currently at. Again, Major League Baseball humbles you. He's going through a struggle. Maybe it's not affecting him, but I want you to be focusing on the game right now, not your haircut, not your marketing department, not how much are you doing off the field. That's my take. We complain about players doing music videos. People in Chicago were up in arms because Moncada did a music video during the COVID year. Moncada's a superstar making millions of dollars, has his future set, but we were complaining about Moncada because we don't like Moncada in the south side of Chicago. We've always given him a hard time. But the Germinator can do no wrong. So I want him to, I'm not saying he's lost focus. I think he might just be going through a hard time. I just didn't expect him to get the haircut 1 for 33. If he got the haircut hitting 415 after the 8-hit game, I would have been clapping for him. I would have said, dude.
Maybe he did that thinking, okay, I need to change.
It's gonna make him better.
Yeah.
No, maybe. I think I can't hate it because I think the artist, the work of the guy doing it. I also think though, he is starting something. Okay, baseball players love trends. There's a player out there who's a superstar that's gonna say, "Hey, man, what the Germinator did was pretty cool." I might put my logo in my head, which I respect. I think I would like to see Trevor Bauer with a haircut like that, just because I think it'd be hilarious. So again, in Chicago though, it's the fans' fault in the media. I think that they lost for so many years. This guy's a great story. They've hyped him up. He is right now probably the top 3 players, if not the most popular player on the team, with just being on the team for 5 months. I'm thinking in more of a baseball side of thing. I hope that the coaches are making sure that he's okay and he's not doing all this stuff as a distraction, and he finds his way, because for this team to win, the Germinator needs to hit.
Absolutely. Well, listen, anything can be a slump buster, including a haircut. Okay, this next article was brought to our attention. Jen, you brought this one up, a powerful article. I'm going to hand it over to you to put it out there.
Yeah, and it's actually surprising to me that it's not, and it has not become a bigger conversation within the media and within social media. The NFL announced last Wednesday that it would halt the use of race norming when determining eligibility for compensation on its concussion settlement. And it was a welcome event. But if you don't know what race norming is, under the practice of race norming, retired Black players were assumed to have lower baseline levels of cognitive function than retired white players. Black players then had to demonstrate more impairment to receive the same financial awards as their white counterparts. Now, I don't know what screams racism more than basically saying that Black players are dumb, and the fact that you may have some type or form of dementia caused by concussions may be irrelevant due to the fact that you are Black. That's what basically the NFL was saying. You had to prove otherwise.
How is it illegal?
I don't know.
That's my first question. How is that even legal?
I don't know, honestly. And the fact that it took them this long, it was actually a couple of former Black and NFL players who took them to task, and that had to happen. It's unbelievable that in 2021, we're still seeing these little things trickle down. And everybody who is anybody, right, has come out in the defense of the NFL and saying, no, they're not racist. No, they're not banning Colin Kaepernick. What are you talking about? And here is proof in the pudding, basically, of how they've been acting since the initiation of the NFL. It is mind-boggling. It's disheartening. It's sad. I'm happy that it seems like it's going to change, maybe, right? Like we never know what's going to happen behind the scenes and how they're going to try and give less compensation to players, because at the end of the day, it is about that. It's about the money, and it's about trying not to award players the money that they deserved due to concussions in the game. And if you haven't seen the movie Concussion, watch it. It is a must watch with Will Smith. But on this note, yeah, it's really, really sad, and it's disheartening.
Yeah, and it's sad that it took this long for the league to even recognize that concussions were a life-threatening, a life-ender. I mean, look at Junior Seau is a perfect example, and the fact that concussions can cut so much deeper than just the physical.
I want to know
where the health problems. I mean, so much.
Yeah, no, and I haven't seen really a statement or anything come out from the union, from the NFL Players Union. So I'm curious as far as that goes. I've seen players and coaches come out, but I haven't seen really the union come out against this or even speak up about it and what's going on. So that's interesting to me. I hope that this will become a bigger conversation because it is really, really important to continue to have these conversations, but to talk about what is going on, what people perceive the NFL to be and what they were doing behind closed doors is really just astonishing that this practice had been going on for this long.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for bringing that article up, and we'll continue to track that story because I'm very interested to see where they are down the line now that this news has broken and it becomes part of our sphere of relevance. Okay, what was the best thing you guys saw this week, Ozzie?
Well, the best thing I saw this week was actually Olympic baseball being played. The United States team actually got to advance to the Olympics, winning the tournament that they just had in Orlando. You got Matt Kemp, you got Edwin Jackson, Frazier. The Dominican team was also very stacked, but it was awesome. Here they were playing against Venezuela. If Venezuela would have won, there would have been a 3-way tie, and they would have gone to like runs scored against versus. But it was awesome. The Team USA, I think that they didn't get enough credit. You know what? I think that every athlete has a dream at one point or another to wear the jersey of your country and representing them. For the United States to be able to go to Tokyo after not having the Olympics, baseball be in the Olympics, I think it's going to be a big deal. And the U.S. is going to be there and it's going to be well represented. It was a great tournament. So now they go to a second phase where they have another part of a tournament where I think 2 or 3 more teams get to play for a spot in Tokyo. But USA's in, so I'm excited. We will have baseball in the Olympics.
I'm super excited too. I'm just happy that Edwin Jackson is still playing.
He's awesome.
That brings me joy.
He has every jersey in Major League Baseball. Now he has Team USA.
And now he has the Olympic team. Yes, yeah.
He is one of my all-time favorite people in the game, one of my favorite players, one of my favorite people to interview, just all around incredible clubhouse person, wonderful baseball mind, and the kindest heart, biggest heart you could ever meet. And I always root for him. Jen, what was the best thing you saw this week?
Well, in addition to that, the Olympics, these qualifying games were amazing. Like Ozzie said, the DR team was definitely stacked. You had Joey Bats, Melky Cabrera, and a number of other former players and players who are just looking to have a second chance in Major League Baseball out there. They're going to have a second chance out in Mexico, so that's really good to see. We spoke to Mariana Patraca, who is one of the female baseball operations in the team, so that's always awesome to see. But outside of baseball, something that had the internet on fire, Mayweather and Logan Paul stealing your money. Stole your money legally, and people were upset because I don't know what they expected, but this is what a Mayweather fight looks like. I don't think I've ever really seen much more than what was going on at any other fight. Yes, he is, undefeated, whatever you want to call him, one of the best fighters. Not to me, because I just, there's other things that I don't like about him, but he is an entertainer and he is smart about his money. He did what he was going to do, and that was make money. And you people fell for it, and then you are upset because Logan went all the way. I mean, they won. They won because they got their money. Logan Paul can say that he fought Mayweather and You didn't lose, right? Because it was a fight that didn't have any winners. It was just an exhibition fight, and they ended up, putting on a show.
You just said the words correctly, Jennifer. So in the world of sports where we love entertainment, there was a couple reasons why I like this. Okay. I paid for the Mike Tyson Royce Jones fight. That was not, it was fun for me because I'll see Mike Tyson fight a bear at 98 because I just love Mike Tyson. But that was a little bit slower than I wanted it. But Logan Paul's this random kid who basically becomes a YouTube sensation, basically this generation's type of athlete. Okay. Kids love him. This guy has 66 million followers. Now, here's the biggest name in sports. This guy basically said, I'm going to fight celebrities. Whoever wants to fight me, I'm going to get paid for it. Mayweather saw a huge chance of basically crossing his brand and saying, I'll go in and spar this guy. He won't knock me out. I don't care what they say. And I'm going to make money. The part that I like about it is Muhammad Ali fought a karate guy in the 80s when he was almost already at his point of being sick because he needed money. Okay, when you got big name guys, we love entertainment. Okay, and people need to understand of what is a prize fight versus what this entertainment fight was. So again, if you're gonna watch Canelo fight, which his last 4 fights have been really boring because there's no opponent for him, he's just that good. That's a prize fight. But this is like a celebrity home run derby. Okay, like you're paying for the people that are complaining, thinking they're gonna see like 2 young studs go at it and die in the ring. This is a celebrity match. Just because Apollo Creed died in Rocky III. In the exhibition fight, that doesn't mean exhibition fights are like that. I liked it because first we got to see Ocho Cinco fight for the first time ever and get knocked out and him be like, I loved it. It was like a learning experience. 2, they had great music, Migos singing and whatnot. And then you got to see these 2 guys that, to be honest with you, they were really entertaining. They were fake fighting. They were talking trash. So everything that was part of the fight, I like it. That's the entertainment. Very dangerous, guys. We're going to start seeing celebrities fight other celebrities. We're going to see boxers fight other boxers because people love nostalgia. I'm going to be honest. I would love to see Juan Gonzalez going on 1990s home run derby versus Frank Thomas and see these guys at 55 years old try to go deep. Just me. I would pay for that because that's me. But that's a fact. I'll pay $60 to watch that on pay-per-view. And obviously a lot of people did for these guys.
I think actually there would be people who would want to see some old timers.
We paid to watch Canseco fight some intern.
Yeah, but you know what's funny about that? I was actually watching the Hot Box with Mike Tyson, and he had Mario Lopez on, and they were talking about how they spar at Freddie Roach's gym, and he spars with Usher and a couple of other celebrities, and Usher because he was training for the movie. But and I mean, Mike Tyson actually has a league where he brings in old fighters so they can fight each other. And so, Ozzie, I think it's a great point. We all want to see former stars kind of, put on a show for us. And it was this fight with Mayweather was a little WWE style. Like, and anybody who thought it was going to be any different, I'm sorry. You fell for it. I'm sorry. But it's entertainment. This is entertainment.
That guy, Logan Paul, I don't care if you think he's a good fighter, bad fighter. That guy's in top shape. I saw what he used to look like prior to YouTube. Other than Jeff Bezos, this has been the craziest transition of any person I've ever seen in life. I was like, Logan Paul became the Incredible Hulk. So I'll give him credit on that. But you know what? I'm all for it. You know what? Baseball-wise, I want to bring back the old-timers game. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
The All-Star game, they used to have a game beforehand, and now it kind of became the celebrity game. But I want to include more all-time, the old-timers game and bring guys back of like, this year we're going to relive the 1990s All-Star game. Because as a kid, you feel as a fan like, oh my God, that was my favorite player. And just seeing them in uniform, even though the body doesn't look the same, there's something about you that you want to share with your kids and have that moment. I think that athletes have that connection to our memories when we were kids, and they'll always have that. They'll always be superheroes, until the day that, we get older, and that we always want to meet them. Trust me, if I could pay to spar Mayweather for 1 round, I probably would. Just to say that.
I'm still stuck on your Jeff Bezos transformation.
Have you seen Jeff Bezos prior?
No. That's what I'm saying. If people don't know, Google before and after.
Google before and after Jeff Bezos.
There's a saying in Spanish, no hay gente fea, solamente pobre. So there's no ugly people in this world. You just got to have the money for it. And Bezos got all
ripped and got really good looking after he got his first billion. Legit.
Wait, like I'm so intrigued. After he got his divorce, or after
before his divorce.
From the beginning, from like when he started to now. Like if you look before, and I mean, and Elon Musk is on that list as well.
Elon's on that list too. By the way, Jeff Bezos' former wife was always very good looking. So Jeff Bezos always could probably be a good salesman because he was way over. He was way over his league. He wasn't good looking but again, you saw Logan Paul and I'm like, oh my God, this guy like legitimately is obviously spending time on his working out. If I had that many people listening on my podcast, okay, I would not be working out that much. But he has, again, entertainment. And I think that other sports are going to catch on to this and start trying to, capitalize on our love for older superstars.
All right. Well, moving on from all of that, in my opinion, who won the week? Or rather, what's the best thing I saw? A 2-year-old is the latest member of Mensa. Mensa is where all the smart people live. And apparently this 2-year-old, her name is Cache Quest. She's only 2 years old, but here are her skills. This is what this little girl can do. She can name all of the elements on the periodic table, identify all 50 states by shape and location. She's learning Spanish. She's deciphering patterns according to her parents. This is what they said. Listen, guys, I can't do any of that.
By the way, here's a trick question that I ask every parent. Can she go to the bathroom by herself?
Oh,
I think so. I think
I hope she's potty trained. I'm saying this because all the parents, and Julie can attest to this, everyone's like, my kid's a genius. And then you're like, is he potty trained? Because he's wearing a diaper. I'm like, he ain't that big of a genius. Can't figure that one out. You know what?
My kid's still wearing a diaper.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not claiming he's a genius, but I love me some smart kids. So
no, here's the thing. Kids are only going to get smarter. I'm not surprised that little girl knows all that. I feel like kids today are smarter. I really do. I think that the technology, that the access to TV, the computer games, the stuff that they learn, I really think kids are actually getting smarter as they are younger. I wasn't as smart as I am around, like I see the things your kid does, stuff Adela does, the stuff like that I see other kids doing. I was like, I was not doing that at that age.
I wasn't doing this.
No, that's what I mean.
They all know how to swipe. It's so intuitive. It's crazy. They don't know technology.
No, my niece literally, she's going to be 3 now, and she's been doing this since she was 1 with the phone. She realized, when YouTube is playing videos and it comes to a commercial and it has the skip. Yeah. She realized that if she presses that, she can skip the commercial and get to the content that she wants to see. I'm like, she can't read. How do you know this? Like, I don't.
It's only going to get better I'll give you an example for baseball. I see videos of kids imitating guys hitting. Okay. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the game of baseball, and I would only imitate guys that played on my dad's team because those are the people that I saw. Back in the day, kids could not imitate because you were not going to the games every day. These kids are on their phones looking at players at bats, and so they're becoming even baseball smarter. Their stance, they're imitating. I just think they're more advanced. The stuff that I see them do now than what I did when I was at it. Like, I didn't even know how, I didn't know how to do a double play. I only did that because that's what I saw, but other kids didn't. I just don't. Now kids are just the little baby geniuses.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Okay, we're going to play a little game. We have a little bit of time left. We're going to play a game, sort of a would you rather. Get your props. We're going to get our whiteboards out here because this is a game called Would You Rather Fernando Tatís Jr. or Javi Baez. So here we go. And I have one written on one side, one written on the other. So it's either Javi Baez or Fernando Tatís Jr. Here we go. Who would you rather see play? Javi Baez or Fernando Tatís Jr.? Everybody hold up your signs. Oh, 2-1. I like to see homers. I like to see offense. That's why I'm going Tatís Jr. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so who has more pop at the plate? Tatís Jr., Javi Baez? Oh, what? Wait, more pop at the plate?
Yes, power, like home run power. Yes.
How many home runs does he have?
Trust me, we'll see where the season ends. He might end up with 300 strikeouts, but he's got more pop than Tatís. Tatís is a better hitter.
Okay.
Javi needs to have me be his mentor. We get him back to where he needs to be.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's flip it around. Defensively, who has a better glove?
Oh God, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I think that's a unanimous one. I think we all agree.
You know what though? He needs to clean it up though this year. He hasn't cared too much. Tatís has only been in the league less than a year. Technically, he is going to get better. I think that Tatís. Tatís is going. I think their projections. I think Tatís eventually will become one of the best shortstops in the league when he decides to become that guy. He's only been in the league less than a year, so.
I know. We'll cut him some slack. There was like 7 errors to start the season. We'll erase those. Who has a better nickname? I like El Niño.
I don't know who they gave him that nickname.
I like El Mago just because it suits him perfectly as far as the tricks that he pulls on that field. I like El Niño, but I'm going to give it to Javi.
Who do you think is a better chef?
Neither.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them cook.
Neither their mom or their wives. Those guys look like they never cooked them. I know Tatís has it.
Tatís doesn't cook. He's still a baby.
Yeah, he ain't doing anything.
I don't even know.
Tatís has never made his bed.
Tatís has never made his bed. Javi, because I was able to over the off season during pandemic time. He was hanging out barbecuing with Jose Berrios, and he showed me he was cooking some pinchos, some shish kebabs. So I'm going with Javi. That's right.
Yeah, I don't think Tatís has ever cooked anything that's not microwavable. His mom's there. He's like my mom. He grew up a baseball kid. He didn't do it. He's never made his bed. He's a wife's nightmare. He's a future wife's nightmare.
All right. Swag. Who has more swag on the field?
Whoa. No, I'm going with both.
Well, they both, but this guy is in another. He gets it.
I'm going, but it's hard. That's a hard choice.
It's a hard one.
But who has more swag off the field?
I think Javi's a very. I see some like wicked tone life. I love. You know what? I'd say Javi has more swag because I like his the way that he dresses. I think that he has really good. I like his clothes, the taste in clothes.
I think right now Tatís is doing something that young Latin players have not been able to do, which is the monetization of their image at such a young age. And I think that takes swag.
It does transcend into horrible, ugly clothes. But yes, he does. He is transcending.
It's the tats for me.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tat yourself, and you're an artist, and you literally take the needle to your own thigh.
Yeah.
He's a G.
Yeah.
All right. Overall, who would you want to spend the day with? I was going to say who would you want to date, but let's
you can say you want to date. No, you can say you want to date. I'd want to date Tatís Jr. That's a great contract that he signed. I don't know where Malcolm's landing.
Okay, he's going to pay for everything.
Oh, we can do the date. I'll date El Niño.
He ain't married yet, so Tatís.
Oh, look. Reasons why I'll date El Niño. I know where I'm going to live for the next 10 years. San Diego's a great place to live in. And he got paid. So if he leaves me, we gonna get half and half. We good.
No, babe. You know what? He made that money before he met you. So you are not
give me 100. Give me 100,000. I'll take Tatís.
He's taking 100K.
You know what though, Mago? We don't know. We don't know where he's gonna land. It could be somewhere cold and ugly. It could be. We don't know how much he's gonna get paid. I also think that. I think that Tatís. I don't know. I find him extremely interesting. I've talked to Tatís more when he was younger.
Uh-huh.
I find him very eccentric and he does things on his social media. And I know that kids that are, second generation are usually a little bit like off and like they're into like really cool like things and niche stuff that other people aren't into. And he seems like that guy. Like he'll put stuff about nature and, he's really into like electronic music and art. I would like to have dinner with him and be like, let's get to the real you.
No, I want to go on vacation with Tatís. Definitely, I want to go on vacation because he seems. I love adventure, and he seems adventurous.
He would go adventure.
Yeah, he explores DR and I think showing all of the beautiful places that the country has. It's amazing what he does on the social media, especially in the off season. And like I said, what he's been able to do, what his agents have been able to do, the agents have actually done their job, because we know baseball, and Ozzie, I know you know this, we know baseball agents that only care about getting that contract, and then after that, they pretty much disappear.
Yeah.
Not with Tatís Jr. They have been able to market and capitalize on what he's been doing on the field, that chemistry, that charisma that he has. So good job to basically his entire team.
Absolutely. They're two of our favorites.
Yep.
All right, let's round out the show. We're going to end with a little segment we like to call What's on Your Mind. So here's what's on my mind right now. So baseball is back in business. Thank goodness. Thank you to the baseball gods. We have a full season here in 2021. But why aren't the broadcasters there? Why are the broadcasters being left behind? When it comes to games on the road, the TV crews are still not able to travel with the teams to visiting stadiums. Now, at first they said, well, we got to wait till all of the teams hit 85% of vaccination rate. So once the team hits that, then we can have the TV crews join. Well, 20 teams so far have hit that benchmark of 85% vaccination, but not a broadcaster in sight in the visitors' TV booths in these stadiums at the press level. So where are they? They're broadcasting from home, or they're broadcasting from their home stadiums, or perhaps the network office using monitors. Well, that's pretty difficult, and your calls are only as good as the home camera team is at picking up those long balls, or perhaps what's going on in your team's dugout. Now, according to some broadcasters, it's like balancing and doing a razor wire act, because it's really tough. And if you've noticed some of the lag on the calls, it's not their fault. They're trying to do the best they can. But Jen, as you and I were talking about this, you brought up a great point, which is the Spanish language broadcasters have been doing this since the beginning. They call the games from monitors, and it's not that serious. So what's going to happen? Do you think we're going to see broadcast teams start to travel again? Will we see them have access, or have Major League Baseball teams gotten a little comfortable not paying the travel fees, and the networks as well, and also not having that extra travel party on the buses, on the planes, trains, and automobiles, and traveling with them? So a lot remains to be seen, but I think that MLB should put some pressure on the networks to gather their pennies and start paying for the broadcasters to travel again, paying for their hotels and their small stipend of meals. I believe it's about $40 a day at this point. It's not that much, in order to have the best broadcast possible. Just my opinion.
I think that, they need to continue to pressure. MLB needs to do that. I also think that it has to happen, just because we're seeing teams already allow beat writers, vaccinated media to come on the field. So if that's already happening, why are the broadcasters not traveling? And like you said, and like I said, and I've said many times, international media, Spanish-speaking media has been doing this their entire career. They've been calling the games from home. I'm not saying it's right. It's not fair. I've always questioned it. And a lot of it has to do with, the teams don't own the rights, or they're doing it from the radio station and it's separate. But at this point, I think that if the broadcasters are going to fight for this, you know what? I think you bring along your Spanish media broadcasters as well, and you fight for this together, because there is no reason, and I don't care what you're spending, maybe $1,000 more bucks to bring them along with you. $1,000 is nothing, and I'm just throwing out a number based on what like hotel and stuff like that. And it could be more, but the right thing to do would be to have everyone call the game from where the team is playing, because there are some limitations. It can be done, and it's unfortunate that it took this to happen, a pandemic to happen, for English language broadcasters to understand the Spanish language broadcasters and international broadcasters, right? Because we have people calling the game from around the world who do this for a living. So yeah, it's not easy, and if you're going to fight for it, include everybody in your fight.
I did it. I work in a basement in WGN studios. It's not the same, the energy. I think this is why it's important. Okay. Number one, I think that when you're a team and the concept of team and organization, you should have everyone that's at the same level at the same level. If one side gets one thing, both sides should get it. Okay. The part that if I was having my brand as an owner of a team, I want my brand to be represented as best as possible in any language that I'm broadcasting in. But here's a part where it's important to the fans at home, which I think now counts for majority of the fans that are out there. Okay, because not everyone gets a chance to go to a game. The game has expanded. Not everyone lives in a city where that team plays. Is because the input and the insight that an analyst that covers a team on an everyday basis not only comes from their knowledge prior to their baseball career or their job, it comes from the relationships that they build amongst the players. They are the door holders. They're the stakeholders in between the fans and the players. Okay, they can either build up a player and say, no, Jermaine Mercedes he's not struggling. He's just making some adjustments and make sure that the fans stay okay and not want Jermaine to get kicked out of Chicago, for example. Or they can get somebody, that the team doesn't want there anymore and make the fans turn against them. They're a huge part of the team. That also, when it comes to Latino, I never understood this. When half of your team is almost Hispanic, I never understood why they never used the Latino broadcast in order to send their message. Okay, do the interviews with the Latino players because they're a huge part of your brand and you want them, to be able to get covered. They only get covered at home. They don't do anything on the road. So that's why I never understood that. But broadcasters are the connectors to the field because there's beat writers that write for a paper. They're around. And then there's a broadcaster. The broadcasters are part of the team. Like some teams, broadcasters work out in the team, with the team, in the gym, with the White Sox. I'm talking about my experience. Like a real organization, okay, the broadcasting team, they're part of your team. They're the ones that are out there talking about your product, and they're the ones out there that are listening to the fans booing and the complaints. They're part of your team. There's 26 guys on the team. When you win a World Series organization, everybody gets a ring. They should, if it's part of the organization. It's not just 26 guys on the field. There's trainers. I feel like the broadcast team is part of that. And that's why they should be at the game. And that's why every Major League Baseball team should go that way. We've come so far to just go back 30 years to how it was because of travel and airplane sizes. And we can't go back 30 years and wait another 30 years to get where we were before the pandemic. That's unacceptable.
Agreed. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Jen, Ozzie, always a pleasure. And we will see you next week.